welcome back to Pompey Chimes. I'm still in my garage. It's now the weekend and I'm going to go up to Pompey Chimes today, but first of all I'm going to build myself a coal cage. Now I've been looking into this, trying to make the stove go through the night, and someone suggested on this channel, and I've looked into it further, and there's this thing called a coal cage, which is basically just a wire mesh which you place your coal into. So they're quite expensive. They're about £40 delivered from what I can see, and for what it is, it's like quite a lot of money, and I like making stuff, so I bought myself some stainless steel mesh and I'm going to have a go at building one myself. So we'll see how we get on with that. So this is the mesh I bought. The holes are a lot smaller than what I've seen online, but I figured all it's doing is holding the coal together, and there's still plenty of airflow around it, so it shouldn't matter too much. I couldn't find anything that was bigger. It's quite thick, it's quite tough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down here, I'm going to trim all these sharp edges off, and I'm then going to wrap it around this paint pot to measure its length, cut it, and I'm then going to have a go at welding it together just to see what kind of job I can get of that. So here we go, let's start cutting. Lovely. So now I want to shape it, so I'm going to wrap it around this tin. Not quite sure how well this is going to bend. Let's have a look. See, it's quite stiff, where it's quite a thick sheet. So it seems to be bending not too bad, but it wants to spring back all the time, so it is kind of going. Let's try that there. So what I might have to do is just bend this round and then tack weld it in place so that it holds it, and then maybe cut it after that. We'll have a look and see how we get on. So I've now got it somewhere where I want it to be. So I've cut it to size, cut it to length. I actually gave up the pot of paint and started using a smaller one. Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Parfume is the tin of choice, and it's a lot smaller in diameter, but it enabled me to get it a little bit smaller round, and I've cut it to length. And I'm thinking that what I'm going to do now is start tacking this together, so tack welding this together, and then start shaping it, and then I can go along and weld it up properly. So that's the next stage. So this is proving to be quite tricky to weld up actually, because it's such a little area that you can play with. I'm trying not to melt the existing stainless steel that's there, so it's not too pretty, but we are making progress. Just keep going a bit further. So I've now got a sanding disc in the angle grinder. I'm just going to go around and give this a bit of a clean up and see what it comes out like. Actually, that's not come up too bad. Feels all right. I'm going to try the wire wool on this, not the wire wool, the wire wheel, and see if I can just get that to clean up a bit. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much done. So I've now got the wire wheel in the angle grinder, and we'll see what this comes up like. So that's not too bad. The welding's not the finest, but then I'm not a welder, so I think it's going to be structurally strong enough to hold itself together. We'll see what it's like when we put it in the actual fire later on tonight and try it out. So here we are, back up on Pompey Chimes, and time to get the stove going. It's getting quite late, so I do need to get this up and running fairly quick. So we've got the door, and the rope seal has cured and stuck to it really well. That's what I did last week I was here. So I just need to get this back up onto the hinges. So it should be just a case of lining it up with the holes. There we go. That just sits on there. I need to close this, just make sure the ash pan's in there. So I'll close that first, and then let's see if this, oh yeah, that's nice. I like that. So I can see all around the outside here, the rope's sealed up real nice. So yeah, really pleased with that. That's come out really good. So I brought up the coal cage that I made up earlier. So let's see if we can get this to fit in there at all. Make sure it's not too big. There we go, it's just about the right size. So I guessed all them measurements. So I'm actually really pleased with that, because that was a complete enough to guess, but I can still put more in it, fill it up, and get it ready to go. So yeah, that's really good. Happy with that. Also bought a one of these thermometers, just so I can see how hot we're running and make sure it's all okay. Apparently you can overheat them and it damages the stove as well. So we'll see how that runs as well. So yeah, good stuff. So that's the coal cage loaded up. I've put some kindling at the bottom, which fits just about. I've got some firelighters down there. I'm hoping this is going to poke through the holes. Now, here we have a problem. I can just about get a piece of firelighter there, so I'm hoping. So what I think I need to do is just cut a hole out the bottom of this, so I can actually get my firelighter actually right in there. I don't know if I need these or not. I'm not quite sure what these are for. I'm guessing they're just to stop stuff from falling out into the door, but I'm guessing with this in place I wouldn't need that. So here we go. We'll shut that up. We'll open up the vent, make sure that's all open, and then see how we get on. So the stove's up and running, the coal cage is in place. Seems to be doing its job, works really well by the looks of it. Keeps the fire quite small, so I've not used anywhere near as much coal as I normally do in getting that lit. We'll see how it goes. We've just not quite got going yet. The fan's not started turning and the temperature gauge isn't really registering, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We are 8 degrees indoors and 5 degrees outdoors, so let's see how that goes. So we're a good 30 minutes, 40 minutes into it, and it's doing its job, but it is giving off low heat. So the fan is running, temperature gauge is running too low, so I think it's going to be fine for overnight, just to keep it going. But I think to get the fire going and warm the boat up, we definitely do need to have it just as a normal fire. And as you can see, outside we're 3 degrees and inside we're only 10 at the moment, so it's not gone up much at all. So I took the coal cage out, loaded up with more coal. You can see it glowing nicely now. Still not mega hot. I'm not sure if I've placed the thermometer in the right place or not, but it's not as hot as I thought it was going to be, because this is chucking out some heat. We are currently 28.5 degrees indoors and 0 outdoors. And there's Wes. I'm just watching Amy and Wes catching up on their vlogs. Yeah, so it's nice and toasty in here. I'm not sure what to do overnight. So it's time to get ready for bed now, and the fire's still going quite nicely with the coals as it is. Still not convinced about this thermometer. I'm not sure if it's misreading or whether it's in the wrong place or whatever. But been kicking out a lot of heat tonight. So I'm not going to go with the cold cage tonight. I need to do some modifications to it, I think. So I'm going to go for the good old compressed log thing. It's supposed to last 8 hours, but doesn't. But we'll chuck one of those in tonight, and hopefully that will keep it going, because it's still 0 degrees at the moment outside, but it's a toasty 26 inside still. So it's the morning after, and the fire has gone out. There were a few embers there earlier, but nothing much to speak of. It's made a bit of a mess of my door, so I need to give that a good clean again. As far as the cold cage goes, well, yeah, it worked. It did what it's supposed to do. It made a small fire. It was quite effective in that sense, but it didn't give out much heat, which it wouldn't do because it's a smaller fire. So I think what I need to do is adjust it slightly. So I'm going to make some holes in the bottom down here somewhere so I can actually light the fire. And I'm going to cut a little bit off the top so that it fits in at the back there. I don't know how well you can see, but it just catches on the bit of the top there, this bit up here. So I just need to cut a little bit off the back of it somehow. So I'm going to make a few modifications to it. I'm going to stick with it and see how I go with it. But yeah, it worked, but not quite how I expected. I do want to try it overnight as well. So that'll be the next experiment with it. So another little job I want to get done is putting a wrap on this fridge, on the door of the fridge. So we've bought this wrap. This was Sharon's choice. Nice choice it was too. And we're going to try and stick this on. Now I forgot to bring my squeegee that you put these things on with, so I'm going to have to use a card and my wallet. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Yeah, there we go. Pretty happy with that. It's not come out too bad. Certainly a lot better than what it looked beforehand. The door beforehand had a few knocks and rust bits out of it, but hopefully not too bad. There we go. It's another weekend done on Pompey Chimes. So it's a weekend of two halves. Yesterday it was freezing cold, and today it's wet and windy and horrible. So signing out for this week.